have the supply chains ramped up for the drugs and vaccines, and we still don't have plans in place on how we distribute those drugs and vaccines, and we still do not have a comprehensive testing strategy so Americans know which tests do what to do with that information, and we know how to find this virus and trap it and kill it. So there's a lot of work we still have to do.
Gentleman yields back. A pleasure to recognize the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Mullin, for his 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'd be remiss not to thank you for your continued prayers for my son. That's very kind of you, and I really appreciate it. Dr. Bright, you're here on your own time as an individual, is that correct?
Yes.
Where are you currently employed?
I'm currently an employee of the Department of Health and Human Services, and I'm in the middle of transition, I guess you would say, between BARDA and the NIH.
So you've accepted the reassigned position to NIH?
Except that this position is under discussion at this point. I have not yet accepted that role.
So are you currently being paid?
I'm currently being paid.
Where are you being paid from, out of BARDA or from NIH?
It's not completely clear to me, but I believe it's out of NIH.
So are you getting a paycheck since you've been over there since mid-April, right? Is that correct?
I've received one paycheck, sir.
What, from NIH?
I think it was still part BARDA and part NIH. I've had discussions about my onboarding process at NIH.
Are you, at BARDA, you made $285,000, is that correct?
That's true.
So how much are you currently making at NIH?
I don't think my salary has changed.
It's still the same? So you've been over there for approximately 4 weeks, a month?
It has been about 3 weeks since I was removed from my office at BARDA.
So have you reported to NIH yet?
I've checked in with the NIH director's office, and we've discussed the onboarding process, the fingerprinting process, and we had a call just last evening to discuss a framework of my responsibilities that they have envisioned for me at NIH.
So you haven't actually reported to work, but you're still getting paid, correct?
I've been on sick leave since I was pushed out of my position at BARDA.
Sick leave for what?
For very high blood pressure, and I've been under treatment for my position.
For hypertension?
For hypertension, sir, yes.
So you're on medical leave?
I've been on medical leave this week. However, I transitioned from that medical leave to annual leave so I can manage this.
What is annual leave? What do you mean?
It's vacation time. So
you're on vacation time right now?
I'm on vacation time.
Did you inform your supervisors about you coming here today, or did you need to do that?
I have informed them about my leave status, and I've had a conversation with them last night.
So you transferred from medical leave to vacation this week, or does it start next week?
I had a conversation with my physician about my hypertension and how we've been managing it over the last 3 weeks, because this has been very stressful to be removed suddenly without explanation from my role and position. It's a life change for me. And my physician has been working very closely with me to manage my hypertension and stress. And the conversation I had with him last night indicated
I guess I'm kind of confused there, because you say you have hypertension, but yet you were able to do these interviews, you're able to make the report, and you're able to prepare for this hearing. Yet you're too sick to go into work, but you're well enough to come here while you're still getting paid from the United States government. Is that correct?
Sir, I've been under medical leave until
I get that, but
yesterday.
if you've been underneath medical leave, too sick to do that, but yet you can prepare for a 2-hour hearing, I just having a hard time tracking that. I have a hard time understanding that. And if you have hypertension, you're too sick to go to NIH, but yet you didn't ever experience that in BARDA, right? You never had issues in BARDA with hypertension?
I didn't have the level of stress of being removed from my position while I was in BARDA, so this has been very stressful. And my physician.
I get it. People handle pressure. People handle pressure quite different. But as a director of BARDA, I'd feel like you're in quite a bit of stressful position when you're trying to manage a pandemic, but you can't manage that, or you could manage that, but you can't manage your own hypertension when it comes because you got removed from the office. But yet you can still receive pay from NIH, but you can't show up for work. And then all of a sudden you can prepare for this, but you can't do that. I just have a hard time understanding it. I know you're a bright individual and very smart, but you are an employee of the federal government. And I just want to make sure you're not doing something to deceive the American people at the same time getting paid from the United States government. With that, I'm going to yield to a ranking member, Walden.
I thank the gentleman. Dr. Bright, your lawyer appears to have a pretty substantial binder there, and I know Mr. Guthrie asked about the documents that are on the table. Are those the exhibits to your complaint to the Office of Special Counsel?
I don't know what these are.
I'll direct it to the council then, since she's answered other questions. Are those the exhibits to the complaint to the Office of Special Counsel?
Some are, and some are my work product, and some are my notes, and they're not appropriate to turn over to Congress.
So is it appropriate to turn over the documents that are referenced in the complaint, not your work product, I respect that, to this committee? And would you do that?
You asked that question initially, and I said we would look at the documents to determine whether they are appropriate to turn over.
I'm just talking about the ones that we have partial email chains, we have screenshots of emails. I think we should have the right to see those documents if we're going to effectively know the full extent of this complaint. And I just wish you would commit to turn those over. Dr. Bright, will you turn those over?
I think I addressed that
Dr. Bright, I'm asking Dr. Bright now.
I've submitted my full complaint to the Office of Special Counsel, and that is the process I know to follow, so.
But you're here as an individual
Gentleman's time
citizen,
is expired.
whistleblower. We just want to see what you've submitted so we can evaluate it ourselves.
Sir, I don't understand the full process, other than I was supposed to submit it to the Office of Special Counsel, which I've done so. I don't understand the legalities of sharing that before they've had their opportunity to review that. And
They've certainly been shared out into the public and press. The Washington Post has them from some source. They look a lot like what's referenced in your complaint. None of us, I don't know where those came from, but you know, other media outlets are certainly seeing them. I just think as part of this investigation, Madam Chair, you should request them.
We will seek all information that's appropriate to be submitted to the committee. And what I circulated, or we circulated,